Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I'm your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Sunday, January 30th, 2022. Yes, we survived. Um, Officially a blizzard, officially 2 feet here, drifts over 4 feet. Um, we were blessed. We did not lose power. Didn't lose cable. Only had one trip out to the dish to shake off the snow to keep it going all night. Did lose internet uh, early last night. Was able to obviously use our phone, but the cleanup crews are sleepless. Hats off. There'll be some cleanup all day today, but it looks like we should be up and running fully tomorrow. Actually, today there'll be people out. Obviously, some parts of Massachusetts got over 30 inches. Like I said, huge drifts around here. I literally got snowed in twice. I had to kind of try to shimmy myself to pry the door open to get back out. But we survived, and I want to personally thank a lot of people on social media, a lot of the ECSI family that reached out periodically. Yesterday, even this morning, my phone was blowing up. Yes, we survived. Yes, we're here. Yes. Secondly, a first for the ECSI family in 7 years. Me and Scott broke down yesterday's card. I broke down six of the open and seven games yesterday, and I went back on the tape, went back again just to make sure because we're 100% transparent. I went 5-1 yesterday. 5-1. Now, ECSI VIP family knows we just can't gain any traction. We can't get any luck. We can't close any games. So what we did yesterday is we took an executive approach and we just blasted out the board on our desk. We monitored throughout the day. We had 3 or 4 alerts we were going to send out, which we never did. And I can look you straight in the face right now and says we broke down 18 games and we're 10-8. Okay, so with the juice, we broke even. So just that's the kind of crap we're going through in the hoops. The funny thing is, Illinois, Northwestern, we were on the Northwestern side plus the 4.5, and they were down 6 and got a meaningless 3 at the buzzer. That type of stuff we haven't gotten in a long time. So they were all on the desk. Anyone that watched the show early yesterday were blessed with a 5-1 start. If you cashed on some of those tickets, hey, don't be afraid to shout out on social media, will you? My man Marty, what is up? What is up? And what about that Alabama basketball win? Marty, your basketball team is kind of hilarious in this regard. Put a big team in front of them, and OMG, they are ready to play. You've been knocking off the powerhouses, the Gonzaga earlier this year, Baylor yesterday. But when you put a team you're supposed to beat, you've been kind of middling. Last year, you guys, when you were on, forget about it. There wasn't a better team in the country. When you were hitting the three, it was lights out, and no one wanted to play you guys. No one. But I'm going to bring on my co-host here, Mr. Scott E. Webb. And what I really wanted to talk to Scotty about initially before we break down the football today is he has a different outlook. In other words, he's not getting blizzards, but they're getting hurricanes. Now, he lives in Tampa, and it's almost like the crying wolf, where you get so many people that said, yep, I heard this, I heard this, I heard this, the naysayers of the world. And it was funny yesterday. There were some of the people that woke up yesterday morning here like, yeah, don't believe the hype. And the storm wasn't supposed to start till later in the morning. And so in Scotty's approach, cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, cat 4, at what point do you become a hero, batten down the hatches and just try to fight it out versus All right, guys, this is a little too risky to put the family at risk and my lives at risk, but wanted to get his thoughts there, and then we're going to dive right into football. So, without further ado, my man, Mr. Scott E. Webb. Scotty, my brother, what is happening?
Well, it's good to see you, Jeff. And I knew you were alive and well. I saw some text messages and some stuff on the internet last night on Twitter and stuff. So I saw those pretty pictures. They got the snow with the lights on the trees and stuff like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and we figured it would help the snowplow guys, and they were up there 12, 2, 4, and I know they don't listen to our show. They literally cleared out the whole front where in front of your car, usually you got 2 or 3 feet, you got to get that excess to get out. They took it all out, and being the president of the board, I'm gonna have to send them a thank you letter. They kicked ass. But I again, I don't want to make this the topic of the show, but I just wanted to ask you, at what point when you're getting the cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, is it just, you just suck it up, board up and suck it up? Or, I mean, is there a certain level of, hey guys, I think we got to leave for the weekend?
Well, yeah, there's I guess the way I do it and the way I look at it is um, these things are a week ahead of time. So you can see them coming for a long time, and then they either gain strength, they don't gain strength. You try to figure out kind of what it's going to be like, and living through all the way up through a Category 3 hurricanes, and boarding up the house and doing different things. I can tell you that I don't want to go through anything more than a Category 3 hurricane. So if I figure that, it's going to be there, you almost have to sort of predict what's going to happen a little bit and go on the best information that you have. Because if it's going to be bad, the bad is not necessarily the hurricane. I mean, I don't want to sound like the hurricane's not a big deal because it could blow your house down and stuff. But the truth is, most of these houses and most of the buildings are now hurricane proof and all that stuff. So you run into the aftermath, and the aftermath is it's just awful. When you get the water surge and you get the stuff all over everywhere, and you have power that you'll be out without power for 10 days. And it's in the middle of the summer, so it's not cold. It's 95 degrees and it gets your house to over 100 degrees, and people die from that stuff. So, and then the cleanup of all the fences and all the tree limbs and and trying to get it's just awful. If you can avoid all that stuff, then just go somewhere else and, let somebody, and come back when it's all cleaned up. Okay, great. It's all good. But ideally the hurricanes are, they're an event that happens for a day. You prepare for them for a week to 10 days. And people run out to the store and they buy all the bread and they buy all the water and they buy everything they can have. And then when you're done, you got nothing left. There's nothing to do, and you can't go anywhere. And years ago, they used to not have generators. They had laws that they passed since then, but every grocery store now and every gas station has to have a backup generator. If they don't have it, they can't operate. So the idea is a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I'm getting older now, but when the power was out, that you couldn't go get food and you couldn't go get gas because the power was out to those places too. So you ran into all kinds of difficulties and problems, but laws and things have been fixed. So some of that stuff is a lot better. But I don't envy anybody that goes through any of these storms, whether they're blizzard storms or hurricanes or whatever they are. They are natural disasters, and they call them disasters for a reason. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and the problem with most people is the ego. the ego steps in, and I've just seen some crazy stuff. I think for the most part here locally, and no one got it. We were a week in advance, 3, 4, 5 days in advance. Listen, Tuesday they said it was going to be all rain here, and then by Wednesday they were talking 6 inches, and then Thursday, Friday it went from 6 inches to 12 to 18 to 2+ feet. No one was out yesterday. Everyone was locked in. They knew what was happening, and I think it benefited us because it allowed, the people that were supposed to be out there to do their jobs, and they'll be out there today and tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. And I again, I have a lot of family, a lot of friends in Florida, Louisiana, Alabama. That these hurricanes come, and for us back east, we haven't had a huge one since Bob, and my parents lost power for a week, and they were just they were hot. It was just, again, we're not prepared for that. Even though we live technically on an island, we have water around us everywhere. The same with all of a sudden these tornadoes and the tornado warnings. We never had those here, and I think we've had 2 or 3 warnings and actual touchdowns in the last couple of years. So it's sketchy. I always say this, especially during baseball season. I always put it up there, and most people don't get it. Okay, so Red Sox are playing the Yankees, and it's rained out. And I always post on social media, Mother Nature wins again, still undefeated. I mean, you can't beat Mother Nature. Just forget about it. You're not gonna win. I mean, you might survive, but you're not gonna beat Mother Nature. So enough with that. We had a great breakdown yesterday, obviously, on the Chiefs and the Bengals. Your breakdown very simply was, you like the Chiefs, to cover. I just want to go back to one thing there. I'm a big opening line guy. Okay, that total was 51, guys. It's been pushed to 54.5. It did touch 55, and it just shoots right back to 54.5. So if you go with the 51 number and you subtract the 7, again, you're getting into that, 28, 23, but again, that's 5. So my point is, Cincinnati's team totals at 23.5. We talk about Kansas City getting a 30, 31. You have them getting a 38. So again, I am with you on the Chiefs. I think Cincinnati's had an amazing run. I love Joe Burrow. I love Chase. I'm a huge T. Higgins guy. They got Tyler Boyd. They got Uzama. They got Money McPherson. They got Joe Mixon. They have a young coach. Defense is okay. But you're going into Chiefs land where they're looking to go to their 3rd straight Super Bowl and a coin flip away from their 4th straight Super Bowl. I'll take the edge with Andy Reid. I'll take the edge with Mahomes, slight edge there with Mahomes. I think Kels is an X factor. Obviously, Tyreek is an X factor. I like the KC defense a lot better than I do the Chiefs there. So I wanted to give you the stage on game 2, 49ers and the Rams, but you can start obviously where your head is this morning when you woke up with the Cincinnati and the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think I've wavered much in this game, and it's hard to not waver when you have so many opinions and so many people that are in this business and so many people out there talking all the matchups and all the different things. And the NFL is all matchups. It's how you attack the opponent's weaknesses. And the second game today is a game we'll get into here in a minute that's all about that. But the Chiefs game is just one of these things where I think, and I said it yesterday, and I have not heard anybody say this, and the opinion that I have on the game is based off of several things. But I did that study that went back and went to in the last 3 games. So the most important games of the seasons for these teams and the biggest opponents that they've played. And the games that mattered for the most part. There's a game for Kansas City, probably didn't matter that much, but and I looked at the drive charts of how these teams drive the football and how successful they are, and especially on offense. And it's just a night and day difference. When you look at the last 3 games, Cincinnati has 6 total drives of 65 yards or more, and that's not bad compared. That's 6. It's 6 out of 31 drives. So they've had the ball 31 times driving the ball, and they got 6 times they've been able to do it more than 65 yards. But Kansas City's at 12, Jeff. I mean, you can almost say half the time they get the ball, they're going to drive it 65 yards. And you can say what you want to about the Bengals defense, bend don't break and all that stuff. They're going to break. So if you look at it from 31 times, so let's just say they get 10 possessions today, the Chiefs. That means 5 of those possessions, they're going to score a touchdown. I mean, they're going to score 5 times on those long drives. Well, let's just say they score 4 times, and that makes it 28. They kick a field goal on one, makes it 31, and then they get a score from not having to drive the ball so far. I don't see how there's any way in the world that the Bengals keep pace with that. That's the issue with the game. Is it's not necessarily about how good Joe Burrow is. It's about how great Kansas City is, and that Cincinnati cannot continue to keep up the pace of what the scoring is going to be on the other side. That's just how I feel about it.
And I agree. Listen, and I'm going to make this real clear here. And it's 11:11. Okay, so that's a nice time to bookmark here. I would not be shocked if the Bengals won this game. And I'm using the word shocked. They have played well. They have played well down the stretch. They have already beaten this Chiefs team. Okay, but just go back to the last 2 games. Okay, the Raiders game, they were fortunate to be in the spot that they were. They were gifted field position and an early turnover to get that early lead. All right. If Derek Carr threw a touchdown on one of those last 3 plays, the Raiders could have went for 2 there and just said, hey, the hell with it. I don't think we're going to beat you in OT. I'm not saying they would have either gone for it that way, but I'm just throwing that out there. And then obviously, secondly, you 3 turnovers by Tannehill, a Derrick Henry that was just a shell of himself, a Mike Vrabel that just, I think, honestly took the week off. I don't know what he was doing during that week off. 9 sacks. 9. Okay? You were fortunate again there to win that game. You play either one of those types of games and Kansas City is clicking, you're going to get blown off the map. And let me just say this. The one thing I'm leery is KC coming in a little flat. They did it against Pittsburgh. They didn't score that whole first quarter. And Pittsburgh got a defensive score to take a 7-0 lead. Okay? And then it was like, all right, guys, let's go. And they scored 30 straight points. Go back a handful of years ago when Deshaun Watson and the Texans came in. They were up 24-3. I was at the South Point for that game. They were down 24-3. And do you know what the live line was? I'll tell you what the live line was. Texas was -4.5 when they were up 24-3. As soon as it was 24-10, the Chiefs were even money. I couldn't run to the window quicker. Chris Andrews gives me the wink. I give him the wink, and the rest was history. 24-10, they're down 14, and it was a pick 'em. That's how this offense works. Okay? And so I'm with you on that. And listen, Joe Burrow, I'm going to compare him to Dan Marino. Dan Marino got to the Super Bowl in his second year, never made it back. Maybe Joe gets to the championship game in his second year, and who knows? Will he get back or will he won't get back? So that's my thoughts there. So take it away on game 2, brother.
Yeah, Cincinnati's playing on house money, right? They're there. They weren't supposed to be there. They're I don't even know if they don't have their own expectations, to be honest. I mean, but I can tell you this: they're not going to be afraid of the Chiefs because they beat them. So I figure they're going to go in there and they're going to want to play. So, we talked yesterday about the total, and it got up to 54.5, and most people don't know the totals key numbers, but 55 is a key number in the totals. And you said it, that one, I think that hit 55 on one and then bounced it right back down. I saw a bookmaker was at 55 and now it's at 54.5 again. Those key numbers are important. So anyway, the second game is an interesting game because there is so much about all of this that's just weird. I shouldn't say weird. It's just these two teams are attacking weaknesses like no other teams, both of them. And when they match up, each team has the ability to attack the other's weaknesses, and it's just a matter of who's going to be better at it. So the number one weakness in the San Francisco team is their secondary and deep passing. They're terrible. And for the Rams, theirs is short passes and specifically passes over the middle. So think about both of these offenses. Both offenses can attack both of those things and do it well. So how does one offset the other? Well, the advantage goes to San Francisco only in a sense that they can rush the passer similarly, if not better, than the Rams. So that means that Stafford can't sit back there and hold the ball. He's got to throw it. And the same thing has to happen for Garoppolo. He's got to sit there and he's got to throw the football. But if he's only throwing the ball in short yardage spots, it's a little easier to get the ball out. And they don't have to cover for so long. So like where San Francisco is going to have to be able to match up and cover fairly well. So I can get into this a little bit deeper here. And there's a couple notes to goes with this. So I kind of looked at these back, and these 2-0 teams that have swept coming into this matchup. And I only went to the divisional matchups. I didn't go back through history and go how many times have this happened and all that stuff. It's only happened 3 times. And in the 3 times, the teams that are 2-0 are 2-1. So that's not very much history to go off of. And I'm not necessarily using that for anything other than to say, yes, you can beat a team 3 times in a season. It's possible and it happens, and it's more likely to happen than not happen at this point. So that's number one. Number two, San Francisco is a much bigger offensive line and much bigger scenario spot than what the Los Angeles Rams defensive line is. So when you start to think about where the Rams are and what they're doing and how all that happens, they're going to have to be agility people because they're not going to be able to hold up man-to-man, man-on-man against the offensive line for the Rams or for the 49ers. So the way you beat them too is you can run on the Rams, even though that they have a great number against the run, by running right at some of these players, and that also slows down the pass rush to a certain degree, and that's sort of what I'm banking on here a little bit, and I'm sort of thinking that that Shanahan's really good, and the more I studied him here the last week, the more I respect for him over even who's a young coach and all that stuff. But Shanahan's been in the wars. He's been there. He's done that. And to be honest with you, he's come out really, really well. So I like the idea here too that you've got Shanahan in a good spot. And one of the things that San Francisco does when they have the ball that makes it really hard is the matchups that they can create for themselves. It's very difficult for a defense to react to because the motion, the players moving all the time. And that means that, they like Ramsey in the backfield for the Rams, and he's got to match up against the best players on the other side. But if you're moving them all over the place and you're putting them in motion and lining one guy up over here, and then you put a running back out in the wide flat, the X receiver way out, and then you move the receiver in. Well, they got to figure out how they're going to match up to that, because a lot of times it's a mistake to put a cornerback on the wide receiver and then put on the running back, and then put the a linebacker on the wide receiver, and that stuff happens all the time. So Shanahan's got an offense that is designed to beat the Rams team. So there's a lot of things that I look at here that it's not that the 49ers own the Rams. Don't think that way, because that's just a blip in a history. They're 7-2 in the last 9 games that they've played them, but that's not how it works. It's whether or not the team is actually physically better, capable of winning the game, and matchup works well. So Garoppolo, when he has the ball, he's going to have to throw the ball 10, 15 yards, get the ball out, and get it to his guys. So I'm going to see where my note says. Over the last 3 games, 2 games, in the last 2 playoff games, he has only thrown 3 passes more than 15 yards. So that's what he's doing. So the offense is not going to be changed in any way to match up to what the Rams are going to do. The Rams are second best in all the NFL against deep passing, but they are 29th in short middle passes and 22nd in short passes. That's how they get beat. You can move them up and down the field. And if you think about what Tampa Bay did, they didn't do that shit. They tried to throw the ball deep, and that was exactly what is right up the alley for the Rams. So I think you're going to see that a couple of things. I think you're going to see short passes from the 49ers. You're going to see a lot of motion from the 49ers. And you're going to see runs up the middle and off left tackle and right tackle. That's where they're strong, and that's where the Rams defense is weak. Even though they have a good run defense, their run defense is great against trying to go wide. So the other thing that suits well for San Francisco is their wide receivers and tight ends rank 4th in all of football in tackles broken. They break tackles, and they turn those 10-yard gains into 30-yard gains. And I think that's how they've been winning. When you look at the other side of the ball, the Rams have all the edges at the defense in terms of the wide receivers, tight ends, that those guys are going to get open. The question becomes is how fast can the San Francisco get to the quarterback? If San Francisco can get to the quarterback like they have been in these games in the past, I think you're going to see the mistakes and the things that happen from the quarterback, because he's great against blitzes. He's not great against pressure. So that's 2 different things. Blitzing means you're adding additional players to the rush. Instead of having 4, you got 5 or 6 or however many you're running, which means the coverages are going to be different on the backside. And those guys beat those coverages, and he can get the ball to them. But if you have 4 guys that put pressure on the quarterback, and you can play zone defense behind it, that's where San Francisco can win, and that's how they've been playing them up to this point. That's where if you think about the last play of what happened in the Tampa Bay game, they blitzed and they got burned because Cooper Kupp got behind a safety now, because the safety had to play him because the cornerback blitzed, and that's how they got beat. You're not going to see that from San Francisco today. That won't happen that way. So I think you're going to see the question. This whole game comes down to, does the Rams offensive line hold up long enough to protect the quarterback to throw to the wide open receivers? And then on the other side, is Garoppolo accurate enough to continue to drive the ball with all the different things that they do to move the thing? And that's how both of them will have a path to success. My thoughts here is that I'm not sure. My number was 24-23 is what I came out with in terms of a score, and that's Rams 24, and that's 49ers 23. I think the value is on the 49ers plus the points, but I wouldn't play them on the money line.
So many ways to go with this. Opening number computer model was 4 and 47. Your actual total number 46.5. Again, they're giving you the 24, actually around 27-20. But again, that's not getting you into that 7. So many ways to go in this regards. Okay. Amnesia. A lot of people in these lanes have amnesia. Jimmy G can't get it done. Jimmy G sucks. Uh, Jimmy GQ, whatever you want to call him. They drafted Trey Lance. They don't want Jimmy G there. He was winning for 3 quarters. They were dominating Kansas City. He was 1 pass away from winning that Super Bowl. He goes into Dallas this year, bum hand and all. They take the opening drive 7-0, made a statement. Other than his boneheaded pick, Dallas was never in that game. Okay. Now he goes to Green Bay. They didn't throw 1 touchdown. 0, zip. And he threw 3 or 4 passes across the field that were pick 6 material that nothing happened. They won the game. They're 2-0 this year against the Rams. They've won 6 in a row against them. The one thing I can't get out of my head, Scotty, is the last meeting, week 18. Rams had a 17-0 lead. I love to use the phrase flash and fade. They got out 17-0. If they get out 17-0 today, it's over. It is over. I can guarantee you that. It's easy to sling the ball up 17-0 versus, oh my God, I need a first down. We need to score here to tie the game. So Stafford is a freewheeler, like so. Cooper Kupp, OBJ, Higbee, Akers has looked great in the backfield other than the 2 fumbles. They are 60 minutes away from hosting a Super Bowl. ECSI family, NFC champs, Super Bowl champs in August and September. Some people jumped in late November when the Niners were reeling and got even bigger prices. I have said to them, guys, just do me a favor. Do me a small favor. Take some Rams plus 225 to win the Super Bowl. At least if the Niners win, you got your NFC championship, you're going to have your Super Bowl. We already got Chiefs plus 400. I'm very content with the Chiefs 49ers, obviously a big, big payday for ECSI. Even Chiefs Rams were guaranteed 2-1. So I'm torn here, Scott. I really am. My gut says the Rams find a way today. I think they find a way. The opening drive will be key. If the Niners come down, take a 7-0 lead, and play from the lead, I think the screws get so much tighter on Stafford. The screws get tighter on McVay. We can't freewheel. And the pressure will be on the whole Rams. I heard 60-40 right now, 49er fans versus Ram fans. I'm intrigued. This game is it's going to be an amazing game.
So let's look at that game that they were behind 17-0. All right. So I've got it pulled up right here in front of me. So the Rams get the ball. They drive down 62 yards and kick a field goal. That's the first thing they did. And then the 49ers get the ball, drive 20 yards and punt. Rams get the ball, drive back down. This is 61 yards, touchdown. Then the 49ers get the ball minus 18 yards, and then they punt. So San Francisco the Rams get the ball, and they only have to go 19 yards, touchdown. Now, flip that back around now. It's 17-0. Then the 49ers drive 61 yards, field goal.
That was right before the half, correct?
Yeah, 38 seconds. And then the second half, they get the ball, touchdown. And then interception, but they drive 74 yards, touchdown. So the game now is tied at 17. And then there was a touchdown at about 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the fourth quarter by the Rams. And the San Francisco 49ers drove 88 yards with a minute 27 to go to tie the game, and then they won in overtime. So yeah, they got behind, but they didn't like lose focus, and they didn't change game plan. What was interesting in this particular game, you would have thought, okay, they're behind by all those points, and that they would change up. Stafford threw the ball 32 times in that game. Garoppolo 32 times in that game. Stafford 21 completions, Garoppolo 23 completions. Garoppolo yards per attempt 8.8 yards per attempt for Stafford 8.7. He played him right where right at the numbers, as well as anybody would have in that game. And the other thing that was interesting is yards after catch. Rams 68, 49ers 172. They can't tackle anybody in that backfield, and I think that's how this thing all works out, is where that it's exactly how you get to the point where we are, where you attack those things. Yes, San Francisco has weaknesses, and yes, the Rams have weaknesses. They're just not as big, but the 49ers are built to attack that. So in matchups, this is a great one for the 49ers and a bad one for the Rams.
I'd like to say we're sitting in the catbird seat. Obviously, we get egg on our face if Cincy wins. We have the NFC covered. I expect the Chiefs to be there. And this second game is truly a coin flip.
Yeah.
I don't think this has been brought up enough on social media as well. Is the fact that, again, this is the fourth straight road game for the Niners. I know they're only traveling to LA. I get all that part of it. The fact that they played in 0-degree weather, the fact that Debo limped off, the fact that Kittle's limped off. Yeah, they've had a week to get ready. But listen, they got to be sore. Someone put this up on Twitter. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but someone put up, this is the Niners' seventh road game in the last 9 games. So if that's the fact, I mean, listen, they're road warriors. I mean, obviously, when the team starts rolling, it doesn't matter where they play. They could play in the parking lot at SoFi. They're going to find a way to win. Coaches, teams, I talk about kryptonite. Teams have us on ECSI. It doesn't matter which way we play them. The Maryland Twerps, it doesn't matter which way. We go against them, they win by 20. We take them, they lose by 20. It just, and you're starting to say the same thing about the coaches. Shanahan is in McVay's head. It doesn't matter what McVay does. It doesn't matter. He owns them right now. So I just think it's one of these games, Scotty, that, it's game 2, win and go home. If I asked you this, who's got more pressure on them right now, the Rams or the Niners?
Oh, the Rams do.
Exactly.
No question the Rams do. And here's an interesting number for you that just came up, and just I don't know what credibility there is to it. I think there's some. So you see this stuff on Twitter all the time about fourth down coaching decisions and whether they're the right decisions and the wrong decisions, whether you should have went for it, whether you should have kicked a field goal, whether you should have punted, because each play has a ramification to help you win or lose the game. So that's how they're judging that off of. And that's a little bit of what I do with like what EPA is. So of 34 coaches that are ranked, and remember, some of these guys were temporary and some of them were replacements and stuff like that. So that's how you get to 34 instead of, the normal. McVay ranks 31st out of 34 on fourth down decisions and so forth, which means he's not an aggressive guy. You might think of him as an aggressive coach on the offense and having the ability to create plays. But when it comes to brass tacks and trying to make decisions on those things, that creates close games just by itself, just because he doesn't want to go for certain situations or do different things. So that is one thing to keep in mind. I would also say that Shanahan's not one of the guys that are the greatest guys at that either. He's 27th, but I just thought it was an interesting note that I found as I kind of went through it. I wrote it down just because I thought it might be an interesting thing. I don't know how much handicapping wise it needs to come into play, but it does indicate to me that if it's a close game, he's probably going to keep it a close game based on his decision making.
Good morning, Billy. Billy checks in. Another Bama country heard from. Loud and proud. And congrats again, Billy, to your basketball team knocking out Baylor yesterday. Nice win there. That was one of ours that we had on the desk. So you'll be proud of us there. I'm excited for the games today. I'm super stoked. Again, I fully believe the Chiefs will win. And this second game, again, I have it covered each way, but obviously we're in for a big, big payday if the Niners find a way to win. But I'm going to make sure I got my tickets and everything covered with the Rams, just in case. I'd like to say whoever wins the turnover battle, but that goes into every game. Yards, Yak is a big part of today's game. Do they get Debo into space? Do they get Kittle into space?
Ayuk, Mitchell should have a good game too.
Yes, and I think Ayuk is the quiet one that no one's talking about. You talked about the 15 yards and under the passes, and when you start running the ball effectively with Mitchell, with Debo, and you're hitting those dink and dunks, you're going to see that defense start to slide in a little more and more, and then that's when you can go over the top with an Ayuk or a Jennings. So keep an eye on that. Rams, I will say slight edge in the kicking game with Gay, even though he hit a 47-yarder fat. But Robbie Gould is gold in these clutch situations, as we do know.
We didn't talk about special teams much, and special teams was big in last week's game. And I don't know if you heard comments after that game, but the comments were, "Holy crap! San Francisco is actually better than some other team in special teams." That they rank 29th in weighted DVOA on special teams. Does San Francisco? 29th out of 32 is not very good. And Green Bay is like 31 or 32 out of 32. And the Rams, number two. So there's a huge advantage in terms of not necessarily kicker, but you got to remember special team is also punters and distance and yardage and coverage and return yardage and kickoff return. All of that is all tied into all of those things. And that's not a good thing for a game that's this tight. So yes, special teams could be a big factor in today's game, and there's a big edge for the Rams on that side of the ball.
I mean, as I talked about the Packers and Davante Adams, you talk about the Bengals and Burrow. You talk about Kansas City with Hill and Kels. Okay, listen. The Rams are a one-man wrecking machine with Kupp. Yes, OBJ has emerged. Okay, yes, they have Van Jefferson. Yes, they have Higbee. Akers, 2 turnovers last week, 2 key turnovers. So he'll be holding that ball real tight initially. The fact of the matter is, if you can slow down Cooper Kupp, listen, he has an historic year. You can just pencil him in right now, 8 catches, over 100 yards, and at least 1 touchdown. You can pencil it in. It doesn't matter. You can't let him get, 11 catches, 2 touchdowns for $179, or the last 2 catches like against the Bucs, 25 yards and then 60 yards or whatever it was. So everyone here, we got you set up. Now they just got to play the games. We've been talking all week about these 2 games. Scotty's made it kind of clear where he sits here. His model comes up 24-23. And listen, I would not be shocked. 23-21, Gay lining up for a 37-yarder to go to the dance. I wouldn't be shocked, 24-20 Rams, minute 30 left, and Jimmy G's got the ball on the 20. I think it sets up for one of those games. That's what we think. And usually when we think like this, one of these two teams is going to blow the other team out. It's going to be the Cincinnati KC, double overtime, 41-40 game, and this game's going to be a box to wire snooze fest or something. But closing thoughts, Scott.
Closing thoughts are that even though we've been doing all this work on football, and I took a break from basketball for the last day or two, I'll probably be back on the basketball front tomorrow. I am studying some baseball, brother. I am looking at different websites and trying to figure out little adjustments here and there, and some different things that I can help the predictability models that I have. And I've got a good feeling about these negotiations that we're going to have a season, and I think things are going to get done. Nobody's going to want them done as fast as you or I or anybody else wants them done. But I think that they're going to get done. I think they're going to have a shorter spring training. I think they're going to amend things, and I think we're going to end up with a full season, to be honest.
Music to my ears. Working on our Vegas trip. I'll know more late this week, early next week. We're kind of looking 17th of March through at least the 31st. We might stick it out that second weekend. Actually, it would be our third weekend. For the tournament, for the start of baseball, able to play a couple of contests out there in baseball, put together some futures. It's nice to go over to the Circa where you can play those, 3 and 4 team sport parlays, pick a winner in baseball, pick a winner in basketball, pick a winner in football, and you put $100 on it, and it's coming back $10,000, $15,000. It's kind of neat. You start to dig into some of those odds. Who's going to be the home run champ? Yada yada yada. So we'll keep everyone updated on that. There's a lot of people planning to be out in Vegas in March. And we're excited to be there with them, whether at the Bellagio, the Circa, South Point, wherever we end up. It'll be a good time. Our buddy Dave Sharapan already lining up the tour, and it's going to be some fun. So listen, everyone, today, it's the last day of the week for us. We have not had a great week again. I don't lie. There's no reason to lie. We had a nice 5-2 day on Thursday. We followed up with an 0-4-1 on Friday, and I didn't release a game on Saturday. Everyone that watched the Breakfast Bankroll yesterday was gifted with a 5-1, 12 and 1 o'clock start, and God bless you if you cashed any of those tickets. We're going to be cracking down the board. We're going to put together an action parlay for the ECSI VIP family and team. We have our futures. We have 49ers NFC champs. We have 49ers Super Bowl champs. We have the Chiefs 4-1 Super Bowl champs. We have our butts covered. We will have some Rams plus 225 Super Bowl champs. So the only way we get egg in our face, obviously, is if Cincinnati not only wins today, but wins the Super Bowl. But if they do, God bless them. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Scotty at Webby20 MLB on Twitter as well. We wish everyone a blessed Sunday. It's family day. Enjoy yourselves. Everyone back east, take it slow, getting yourself dug out. Let the sun, try to do some breaking down, warm up those cars, melt that snow and ice. Monday, we'll start a new week, new start, fresh beginning. And Tuesday is the start of February and the Olympics. It is an Olympic year, guys. Some people don't realize that. So we'll do maybe some Olympic talk, maybe find something here and there.
Are they doing Olympics baseball this year? Oh, no, it's winter. This is the winter. They ain't going to be playing baseball in the winter. God, throwing snowballs at each other.
This is the Olympics in the Winter Olympics. 2 years from now will be the summer. So, again, everyone, have a great day. Any questions, holler at us on Twitter, social media. Send us an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing everyone next week, tomorrow, bright and early, for the Breakfast Bankroll. Thank you again. And thanks to Marty. Thanks to Billy. Thanks to Lucky SP. Thanks to everyone, our loyal followers. We love you guys and wish everyone the best.